Welcome to the Fan2Fan Podcast 5-Minute Frights, wherein, give or take 5 minutes, we'll try to share something creepy, kooky, mysterious, spooky, something fun and frightful that you can add to your to-watch queue as we all get ready for Halloween season. My name is Bernie Gonzalez, and on this episode, Pete and I are joined by Jacob Trussell. Jacob has been featured on the BBC, Rue Morgue Magazine, Film School Rejects, One Perfect Shot. He is the author of The Binge Watcher's Guide to the Twilight Zone, and he's sharing one of his horror favorites.
What I'm going to shill for here is a 1986 horror comedy called Vamp.
The city changes at night.
They don't call them Walking Dead for nothing.
And if you're a stranger,
Hello, baby.
you could find yourself changing right along with it.
Why don't you take what you need for now, to get you through?
Grace Jones, Vamp. They're painting the town red.
This has been one wacky night.
Rated R.
It's a movie that you might remember its VHS box because it features the film's main notable star, Grace Jones, in this sort of like day glow paint look that is replicated in the film. But essentially, it is kind of like a cheesy college comedy from the 80s of these like two bros trying to like get some strippers for the frat house, and all these hijinks ensue, except the hijinks involve a strip club full of vampires. Obviously years before Tarantino would use that for From Dusk Till Dawn. But rather than being sort of any sort of seriousness, it's just like straight up goofy. It's a really like crowd pleasing, fun to watch with like a group of friends film. And I think part of that has to do with outside of Grace Jones just being sort of Grace Jones, it has Robert Russler, who was sort of the sort of sidekick in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 to the main character that's turning into Freddy. But I think that it is one that people should absolutely check out again. It's not going to break any walls. It's not going to become maybe like the greatest thing you've ever seen in vampire film history. If you really want to push a underrated vampire film to someone that's actually fun to watch with people often, like Vamp is like a must-have in your rotation.
I haven't seen this in ages, but what I remember of it, I mean, I think if you want to get a good snapshot of like mid 80s movies and like an aesthetic, like I think this will really satisfy your curiosity or nostalgia. And if I'm not mistaken, is it Chris Makepeace is in this?
Yes, he is.
Woody the Wabbit from Meatballs, a little bit more grown up. So yeah, I remember really enjoying this. And like I said, it's been an age since I've seen it, but it was a pleasant surprise. And, like you, Jake, I think I went in thinking it was going to be something else entirely, and when it became more of just kind of like a 80s wacky comedy, I was like, okay, I'm down for this. So great call.
I've never seen or heard of this. Is this in like the tone of Once Bitten?
I would say it's a little bit more
Probably a little less slapstick.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Once Bitten is definitely more. Vamp is definitely more horror forward.
Okay.
I would say like a Once Bitten or a Vampire's Kiss or anything like Vampire's Kiss, another movie that was almost on this list. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what would be a good. It almost has like actually, tonally, I would say it's similar to Weird Science. Just Weird Science, because like they have far more R-rated fun in that film than some of the other ones do. And I think the sort of repartee between the Chris Makepeace and Robert Russler has a similar, like, they might have been trying to go for a similar vibe as to what they did in Weird Science.
Knowing now that it's on your top 5, again, Jacob, thank you, because you're just filling up my queue.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those ones where like you'll see images from it and you're like, I know.
Okay.
Just like the same thing of like, oh, I've seen this VHS cover looks familiar because I remember seeing it like once when I was 10. It's definitely one of those types of films, but I think people will be really surprised by just how entertaining it is. It's just really a fun watch.